Hello, viewers. Welcome back to another engaging episode of Manager's Mantra, where we connect with industry leaders who are shaping the future of business management. Today, we have with us Siddhant Bery, Head of Strategy KSP, and Ayan Bery, Sales and Global Marketing Director KSP. Both of them represents the next generation of leadership at KSP, a family-led manufacturing enterprise with a legacy spanning decades. Siddhant plays a central role in shaping organizational strategy with a focus on scalability, operational efficiency, and long-term sustainability. Ayan leads business development initiatives across key global markets. He is particularly focused on addressing key industry challenges like vendor fragmentation, production inconsistency, and supply chain inefficiencies by promoting a more unified and data driven manufacturing approach. So, without waiting further, let's jump right into this insightful discussion. Hi, Siddhant and Ayan. Welcome to this new session of Managers Mantra by Be Smart, a business standard platform. We are really glad to have both of you with us today in this interaction, and I'm really hopeful that this will be a great experience for all the viewers watching this interaction. So let us start discussing the questions that we tend to discuss today. In this manufacturing world, like other industries have seen, manufacturing has also evolved with time. Now, how do you see Indian manufacturing evolving from a cost-driven model to a capability-driven one in the next decade? This one is for you, Siddhant.
I believe for the past decade or so, India as a manufacturing landscape was mostly competing on cost. But I don't think for the next decade that's going to happen. The major driver that's going to be is the capability of the manufacturers that on which we will be competing on. Capability will be a big standpoint in which the competitiveness will take place. I think the landscape will be now driven with automation, AI, higher quality systems, higher production, and smaller lead times. This will help the organization become more agile. The agility of the organization will improve. And where I see India now competing, moreover, will not be only cost competitiveness, will be more of capability that we're able to offer to the world. If you see the if you see the curve of the Indian manufacturing landscape, it was at an inflection point when it was only competing on cost. I think we've gone past that inflection point now. We've reached a point where we are actually competing on capability. If you see, most of the manufacturing companies which are there in India now are all adapting IoT, smart manufacturing, which has put India in the forefront of manufacturing. Secondly, I also feel that now that with the economy becoming so strong on its own, even with the Trump tariffs coming in place, even with the different labor unions that are there present in the country, and the wars that are taking place, and the macroeconomic geopolitical area being so volatile, we see India still having a steady growth. That is because the Indian companies have become resilient. They've understood the forefront of Indian manufacturing is capability rather than competing on cost. So most of the Indian manufacturers which will have a more of a, I would say, a delta to the manufacturing space will be more on the capability rather than the cost. Now, instead of saying what the Indian theme manufacturing was, that will India be able to manufacture this at a lower cost? I think the new age India is going to go with the theme that is India capable of manufacturing this.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Siddhant. Ayan, my next question is to you. Today perhaps no discussion is complete without talking about automation. It has, started disrupting all industries. Now, talking about the manufacturing sector specifically, do you think that is automation truly reducing costs, or is it just shifting costs from labor to technology and maintenance?
Yes, in my opinion, I feel automation in the long run will reduce costs. But right now, I feel that it's an shifting of allocation of resources from labor to automation. So, what my logic and my theory behind it is, automation really doesn't depend on just getting machines. Machines are expensive. So, you're in a way allocating your money to purchase machines, which each machine, if you look at it, it comes at a high investment in comparison to labor. So what it really depends on is whether you have the right team that is capable for the automation, you have the right volume. If you don't have the right volume, you can get the best machinery, but you will not be able to justify the machine cost or the product cost in the long term. So I feel that yes, definitely automation in the long run will definitely help in reducing your labor costs, but it depends on a variety of factors. So therefore, I would say that it's right now shifting from a labor stage to a automated stage. So you have to find that difference into where does your powers lie on based on production values, based on your team skill set, whether you have the right team to operate those machines at that level of automation. So yes, definitely it is disrupting the market, but this is my view to it.
So Ayan, let us talk in more details about the automation part. We know that with every technology, there are a lot of scope, but then there are a lot of challenges, a lot of risks associated with that as well. Now, talking about industrial automation and AI, they definitely boost up your production. But then, what are the opportunities and risks that you see manufacturers can face, and why should young leaders be aware of this?
See, definitely, I do feel that AI is the new talked theory or new talk whatever new talk field, I would say, in today's day and age. With AI, definitely you can enhance your productivity, you can enhance your efficiencies, you're able to control quality because it's giving you data readings on a timely basis, on a timely day. But what the real factor that comes into place is that whether our teams that are currently working, whether humans are always resilient to change. When you bring these AIs into the company, does your workforce, does your employees adapt to that change? So, see, let's say for an example that we are looking to bring AI into our company, and I've seen that when we are looking to bring AI into our company, there is a sort of resistance that the company faces because people are still working with those traditional models, and to shift to a new AI based model does take time. So definitely, the good opportunities is that you do get real data flow, and especially in manufacturing, when that data comes, you're able to reduce your costs and get efficiencies. But on the other hand, you also have to see that whether you have the right team to integrate that AI strategically into your company.
Sure. Thank you so much. Coming back to you, Siddhant, we have spoken about industrial automation, but then what happens to the small manufacturers? There is a lot of costs involved when you implement AI and new technologies. What happens to them given the huge amount of the massive amount of costs involved? There are processes, there is skill involved with that. So, how do you see?
So, what I really feel is that I don't think automation in India specifically, I'm talking about in the Indian economic space, that automation is going to replace humans in the near term future. What I see, as you're saying, the larger organizations have the budgets, the capability, the teams, the structures, as Ayan said, to adopt the AI. But when I go to the smaller organizations, what they have is agility compared to the larger organizations. When, like Ayan said, there's organizational behavior, there is structured behavior there in larger corporations. So the adoption takes a lot longer. The team sizes are larger, the technology investments are higher, the capital budgets are higher to get that new technology into the company. But with the smaller companies, that's why I use the term agility, is that they're able to adopt the technology a lot faster. For them, I would not be allocating large capital budgets to do large scale automation into their manufacturing. What I would be doing for a smaller manufacturer, which we have, say, a gazillion present in our economy, is that adopting artificial intelligence, or I would say technology, at a smaller scale, and which will be at a faster rate. The adoption rate of technology will be at a much faster rate compared to larger organizations. But the automation level may not be that high. But comparatively, the automation level will be lower. But the speed of and the velocity of adaptability will be a lot faster. So I feel if these small organizations are given the knowledge, are given the bandwidth, are given the tools for adaptability, they will be able to adapt and they will push their capabilities to a higher level, which will lead to a better economic landscape for all the small organizations that are present currently.
Sure. Thank you so much, Siddhant. Let us move, from the controllables, let us move to the uncontrollables. We have seen the pandemic. There is an ongoing geopolitical disruption that you are facing,
Correct.
all of us are facing.
Correct.
Now, what happens to it, because how do manufacturing leaders tackle these problems? What will be the best strategies to build resilient supply chain to tackle these issues?
So, as I talked about two of my previous other themes, which I mentioned about agility and adaptability. Now, what I see, if you go back in history in time, from say, I would say from coronavirus to wars to tariffs to more right-wing governments coming into power, what I see is the Indian business that is there, I would say the Indian dhanda, it's able to be resilient. The problem and the I would not say the problem, I would say the boon of the Indian promoter is that they have the capability of being resilient. Now, now what Indian promoters and Indian company owners would have to see in this kind of landscape is one is adaptability to change, how fast they can adapt to the new macroeconomic environment that is. So you have to be, as a promoter, open to ideas. Have a team that is ticking your brain to open those different spectrum of ideas that are present. Second, you also have to be resilient uh, through tough times. It is not something that is controllable in your hand. Nobody knows that is a Middle East war going to take place. Nobody knows what is if the tariffs are going to come in. Nobody knows if oil prices are going to surge. But you're able to create the team that is more like a flow of water, that if the water is directed towards the left, the team is functional towards the left. If the water is directed towards the right, the team is functional on right. So that leads to correct investment one in correct human capital. You have the correct team who has that adaptability mindset. Well, and if I think if the teams that are there in most organizations have been through the economic wave from COVID to, I would say, the war to tariffs to crude going to the highest level ever. So they've understood the adaptability to change. And I just believe that the companies who are able to adapt and are resilient to the change are able to go forward. The companies who will be hell-bent with their policies and their forward-looking approaches will die down in the change.
Thank you so much. That was really insightful. Ayan, moving back to you, let us talk about family-run businesses, leadership a bit. Uh, you know, uh, Many manufacturing firms are family-led today. Now, what broader lessons can the industry draw from the next generation leaders who are kind of stepping into the strategic roles?
So, what I feel as the second generation in the business that I've just entered, I feel that there are two ways to look at this. When a second generation enters, he comes with new, I came with new ideas. I wanted to bring change into an organization. I wanted a team to be structured the way I wanted it to be structured. But obviously, you do understand that a company has been running for 30, 35, 40 years traditionally, and you have to take those traditional aspects into play as well. And while taking those traditional aspects that have worked for these many years, you should incorporate them as well as bring in change to the company. So how have we brought in change? Is that we have gotten new ERP software such as SAP B1, which was not there before. Um, Recently, Siddhant's team had brought in LeanWorks, which is something that is looking to measure the looking to bring in efficiencies and increase the productivity in the companies. So definitely, you have to again look at the aspect of maintaining that traditional thought process of how the company has been working successfully for so many years, but also looking at how do I bring in digitization, automation, and AI into my company as well. So it's sort of a duality between both aspects where you look at balancing both and moving forward.
Sure. Thank you so much. Siddharth, would also be interested to know your take on this. Many MBA candidates, many MBA students would uh, lead transformation in legacy businesses. So, what is your piece of advice to them?
So I would like to tackle this question in two ways. One is obviously a lot of young leaders, I would call them next gen leaders, who join their businesses. They come with all the knowledge that they have obtained from whatever program they've done, wherever they've studied, etc., etc. But and try to bring a sea change in the organization on day one. First, we have to understand that the organization has been already functioning for the amount of years it's already been functioning for. So instead of bringing in the sea change, I would go the other way around is try to first learn from the organization from one, it has had operational success. Pick up the operational success that is picked up from it. It has had financial success. Pick up the financial success from it. It has had culture success. That is the people culture success. Pick up the people culture success from the organization. Then try to tweak your models here and there to add back to the value. Second, I would always say with the organization, customer is king. Okay. You come with the different approaches, how you should deal with the customer, etc., etc. But the organization has been dealing with the customer for so many years. So, what value add you can add in terms of knowledge quotient is that where you can add more efficiency improvements on dealing with the customers or going ahead with communication across the organization. What I would always suggest is don't come with so much zest of bringing change into the organization. Try to adapt to what is happening into the organization and slowly bringing the change. When you're slowly bringing into the change in the organization, collectively you can move forward. You shouldn't come as a resistance. You have to come as a fulcrum for existence in the organization. So when you're able to create that fulcrum of existence of a person who's there, who's come as a next gen leader, you're more approachable. People think you're more adaptable. People understand that yes, you have come in, but you're not ready to restructure everything. Yes, obviously you're looking to make changes in the organization, but you have to understand how the cyclical work of the organization is taking place before you make the sea changes.
Sure, thank you. So, is there any frameworks or principles that kind of applies to you when you take strategic decisions? How can MBAs? What can MBAs learn from it? How can they apply those guidelines or frameworks in their careers?
So I said every business has a different framework of functioning. I can't give a standard framework that would be able to be applicable for different businesses. But if I talk on my personal note, what I truly believe is strategy is key. Uh, People are key because that's what drives the organization, and operational excellence is key. So if you're able to create a good gamut between these three, you're able to move forward, because I truly believe as an individual, and what that's what me and Ayan have been trying. We've been investing in people rather than investing in the organization as such. Because when you're investing in people, those are the people who drive the organization further. What we want to do is take a more of a hands-off approach into the organization. Typical Indian businesses is where the promoter has his finger in every job, from every department, from everything. What we are trying to create is trying to give freedom of work and freedom of expression to people and let the people lead the organization. Now, when the people start leading the organization and they have the decision making power, yes, they will make mistakes, but then you learn from mistakes also. So, we're trying to create an organizational culture where people are going to drive the organization forward, then rather than the organization driving the people. So, that is the key concept for me. I think that is what is driving our organization a lot ahead in terms of, I would say, culture, in terms of where we've reached in the growth spectrum that we've had in the past 2 to 3 years. So it is what the people is driving it, and we will continue to invest in the people in the organization to push the organization ahead.
Sure. Thank you so much. Before we end up the discussion, Ayan, my last question to you. We have spoken about how AI is disrupting manufacturing, other sectors. It's also shaping a lot of careers, giving a lot of jobs and opportunities which were never seen before. And everybody, every students, every candidates, they are, parents, they are concerned about careers in artificial intelligence. Now, if you were to do your MBA today, would you still choose manufacturing as a career in a world which is driven by artificial intelligence?
So, funny enough, I'm actually going for my MBA on 16th of July. I'm just got into ISB and going for my MBA in family business as well and in manufacturing. I do not feel that AI is going to replace humans in manufacturing. What AI will do is it'll give you data. It'll give you efficiency reports. It'll give you ways to lean your organization so you're able to get reports, get profitability into your company. But what it will not do is remove the human touch. I still, as a sales head, will still need to go meet my customers, develop my relationships. Those relationships are all based on human touch. The level of trust AI cannot incorporate. That human emotional touch will never go. So that is still there. So AI will, in fact, enhance your skills, enhance your productivity, but as an entrepreneur, that entrepreneur's mindset on what strategy I have to play, how do I have to grow my company, what new lines I have to look into, AI can only advise me. But how I deal with that strategy, create that strategy, and implement that strategy, that is completely on an entrepreneurial basis. So definitely, yes, going for an MBA and understanding and how to become a better entrepreneur is there. And I would say I'm happy to live in this world because with AI coming into place, things have become easier, efficiencies have increased, and now all I have to do is focus and create that strategy. So definitely, an MBA is something that parents should not be worried about AI and look towards making their kids become the entrepreneur.
Sure, great. I think that will really inspire and motivate a lot of parents and children and not scare them. Before we end up, Siddhant, if you want to have any take on this same question.
Yeah, I completely agree with what Ayan is saying on this because I've done an MBA. He's going for his MBA. But what I truly understand is that what he also said that AI is there. We are in a world of artificial intelligence, sorry, and it's going to just keep growing even more and find its deep rootedness into the organization. But I also believe that the human touch and the emotional involvement that is there with dealing with people in your organization, with dealing with customers, with dealing with supply partners, that will always be there. Yes, AI will get you efficiency, it will get you data points, it will get you lean manufacturing, it will get you higher cost efficiency, better economies of scale. But that human capability of having that connect with your clients, having the connect with your business partners, having a connect with the supply chain is something which AI cannot replace. And where I see India at a standpoint, we are not like other economies which are in Europe, etc., where we are voided of human capital. India is filled with human capital currently. So where I feel is that we as an economy have maximum output with utilizing our human efficiency. What AI will do is increase the productivity of the human efficiency that we have, and the human capability that we have is just going to become, I think, one of the leading workforces across the globe. So I'm looking for the good combination between AI and the Indian human talent to go and be one of the leading economies that is there in the world. And we are all there to support that.
Thank you. Great. So thank you so much, Siddhant and Ayan, for this. We come to the end of the conversation. I really hope this will be just loved by the viewers watching this, and we are really hopeful to have you again in any other conversations, any other sessions by Be Smart Business Standard. Thank you so much for participation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's a wrap on this episode of Manager's Mantra. Thank you, Siddhant and Ayan, for sharing your insights on industrial automation, global manufacturing trends, the evolving balance between technology and human expertise in modern production environments, and providing career tips to the B Schoolers. Be Smart viewers, we hope you found this conversation helpful. Share your thoughts with us at bsmart.edit@bsml.in. Follow us on LinkedIn and Instagram for more such insightful and inspiring content. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing.